Teach Me Grappling. What's up, guys? Brian Peterson, and I wanted to give you a very short summary of what just happened. We had Gordon Ryan taking on Nicky Rodriguez under EBI rules. UFC Fight Pass put this on their invitational, and this was the main event. So basically what happened is they went 20 minutes, and it was a lot of Gordon Ryan being on his side, trying to attack, and Nicky Rodriguez staying on his knees, playing very, very safe so he doesn't open himself up into leg locks like what happened at ADCC. I'll try to express some of my thoughts at the end, but let's get to the main points of the action. So there was this moment that happened pretty early in where we saw a nice little butterfly lift to an arm drag, and then Gordon was able to suck Nicky Rod into the close guard with his arm across. So let's look at this again. He grabs an arm drag, and you see him adjust. He scoots his hip underneath. He lifts to arm drag towards the back, but then as he can't make it to the back, and Nicky Rod covers that left leg of Gordon, Gordon just says, fine, you're coming right into the close guard, and he's able to trap Nicky Rod in there with his right arm across the body. You can see him scooping for the leg there. He'd like to get that to finish his armbar. In this position, he started to threaten the back. You see how he climbs his legs up? He started to threaten like he was going to get up. He wants to pulse up on his right hand, go towards the back, and Nicky Rod says, I'm not having any of it. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to pull out. He's ducking his head right here, and then he kind of limp arms out. This was just a quick moment where Gordon probably, what his next move should have been, was going to omoplata. It was very, very fast, so he didn't have a lot of time to make the move, but I don't think that Gordon is a big omoplata guy. It's not something that I've seen him use quite a bit. Anyway, sure, he knows what it is, but it's probably just not his biggest, bestest move. And you can see right here, as he looks to go to the back, Nicky Rod says, I'm out. Go ahead. Go ahead, I'm going to force you into an armbar. And then he turns and looks away. The omoplata would have been the only thing to do to keep him in the attack. So then, going through the match, there's about 7.5 minutes left. Gordon then captures the leg, much like he did like in ADCC. You see the leg gets pulled over into a 50-50 situation. And now if you look here, Nicky Rod's doing a good job of turning his knee to keep his knee out. He makes a little error right here, takes some weight off, and then he ends up losing in the position a little bit, and his knee gets pulled right back in. Then, as the legs get crossed, Nicky Rod goes for a counterattack on a toe hold and actually pops Gordon Ryan's ankle. Gordon's forced to kind of release the hold, and then Nicky Rod skates out of there. So here it is one more time slow. We don't know the exact damage. We'd have to have an MRI for that and an x-ray. But everybody hears a pop, and that toe hold, using their words, breaks Gordon's ankle. Again, to what extent, we don't know. They go to overtime, guys. When they go to the overtime, this first one right here, Nicky Rod escapes really quick. This is one of the problems of weak side. Weak side has a very good control to stop your opponent from twisting to their back, so you usually see the belly down escape as they roll belly down, and Nicky Rod did a good job of that. This was the first inning, and then when Nicky Rod tried to control Gordon, he could not get the body triangle, and Gordon is on strong side, and again, the problem with strong side is the back just gets twisted. Nicky Rod forced into an arm triangle situation, but doesn't get anything. Second inning, first of the second. You see again right here. Same situation, actually. We're not on second inning. We see strong side, and Gordon is going to twist. You want to get your back on the mat. The body triangle's not in. Again, strong side has a great choking situation. It feels great to choke someone here, but problem is the right shoulder of Gordon can get to the mat, and then the back follows. And then now we have arm triangle forced, but Gordon's having none of it. He's got his right knee in there, pushing him away. So, all right, here we go. Second inning. Body triangle gets put on again by Gordon, and this round ends up going the distance, which is 2 minutes under current EBI rules. You see Nicky Rod trying to fight out of this position, but it's very hard. He tries to go belly down again in the weak side position, but the body triangle stays tight. Gordon doesn't make the same mistake twice, and he's able to ride. And then another situation that happens is Gordon decides, I'm going to go to double unders. And he went double unders and used his body triangle to control. And despite Nicky Rod trying to roll all over the place to try to twist out, it did not work. So, didn't happen. You notice this situation, Nicky Rod almost escapes. He gets his left hand around Gordon's neck, but the body triangle's so tight, and Nicky Rod tried to force the escape, and he's unable to. So that was a crucial moment where he possibly could have escaped, but he kind of forced the escape. So here it is again. Look at, he leans forward, and then he twists and gets his back detached from Gordon. But because he tries to turn into him so hard, what he probably should have done is just framed Gordon's neck away from him and stayed there. But he tried to force twisting onto the top position, and that body triangle is just too tight, and he loses his escape opportunity. Attempts to roll on over, and Gordon Ryan's body triangle is just too much, and can't escape the round. It goes a full 2 minutes. So now, as he's trying to control Gordon for his, and Gordon just simply does another twisting escape. Watch, we're in weak side, and Gordon goes belly down just like Nicky Rod did to him earlier. There's almost a potential kind of neck crank, but Gordon turns right back, and then you see the crossing of ankles for Nicky Rod. That was not a smart move, crossing his ankles right there. It didn't control the hips properly, and Gordon was able to twist. Into the last round, you see Gordon using the double unders control. At this point, Gordon's doing a lot of double unders. And then in this one, Nicky Rod, like before, you see, he ends up turning belly down, and he's able to get his arm back around Gordon's neck. Look at this. As he rolls belly down, he twists enough to keep his back and bridges back, because there's no threat by Gordon because he's double under. And he's able to get his left arm like he did before, but this time there's no body triangle, and he's able to twist out. So now this was the final moment. Nicky Rod was put in a situation where he had to finish. And you see he got this body triangle for the first time in the last inning, the third inning. This is the last one. He's in a must-win situation. He has to win by submission. If it goes the distance, he's going to lose. And he then sneaks the wrist in on Gordon and is squeezing the rear naked choke, which is probably more of a rear naked face lock. And Gordon just eats it. The time runs out, and Gordon taps. And some people get excited, but he tapped because he's like, I want out of here. You're cranking my face. So, and time's up, and he knows he's won. So you can see 10 seconds left, and he pulls the wrist successfully across. And I think a big part of this was Gordon just not caring, because he knew that he just had to survive another 10 seconds. And as Nicky Rod squeezing, his hardest, time you can see 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. He can see the clock. So he's just waiting for time to run out. And then as time runs out, they don't stop it right away. Gordon points at the clock and says, here, let me tap so I can get out of here. But he knows he's already won. He knows the rules.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 overtimes, we have your winner by fastest escape time, 45 seconds, the King, Gordon Ryan.
One of the strangest victories you'll ever see. But
so there you have it. That was a very quick summary. Can't show you the whole match, but hope you guys enjoyed. So my thoughts on this match. Obviously, it was a whole lot more competitive than the ADCC match, where Gordon was able to secure a really quick heel hook. I heard after the match was over that Gordon was saying that Nicky Rod was stalling. I heard that he might have been greasing or putting some lotion all over his body, and then when you start sweating, you get super greasy, and then you can't take a grip. So we had that part. Sure, I do think that Nicky Rod was stalling, but it's funny because this sport that we do, this sport of grappling or jiu-jitsu or nogi jiu-jitsu or nogi grappling, whatever you want to call it, there's this position called the guard. And when a guy pulls guard, he's on the bottom. There's no strikes being thrown. So you're automatically taking away. It's not a real fight. So I like to call these things matches. I hate calling them fights. They're not fights. They're grappling matches. And these matches, if you think about what we've done, we've created, you start with a fight and you take out strikes. And then you have submissions. So submissions are like the only way to win the match. And so since it's still very real, I mean, it's still very, very, very much a fight in a sense of, I mean, it's not an easy walk in the park. So I'm not trying to say that. But what I am trying to say is when you just have a submission game, which is what we do in grappling or jiu-jitsu, we're having this submission match where I'm going to try to tap you out. You're going to try to tap me out. We're not striking. What happens is you have this dynamic of the guard position where the bottom position is arguably better than the top position. And, because the top guy can't hit you. And it's not like he's going to be scoring any points unless he dominates you, which means he passes your guard. He has to beat the guard in order to start winning. And so what it does is it places the top guy in a situation where if the ground bottom's pretty good, he's like, you know what? I'm just going to stay on top. I'm not going to take too much risk because if I stand up, you might get underneath me and put me in all kinds of leg locks. And so it forces a top player like a Nicky Rod, who's a wrestler who, hasn't been doing jiu-jitsu his whole life. He's like, you know what? It's a lot easier to just stifle you. Basically, play defense to your offense on bottom, Gordon Ryan's offense, by just staying down low. And then, again, so who's stalling is the question. Many, many people look at it different ways. There's different points of view. Me, as a grappler for 30 years, I see Nicky Rod in the grappling game as the bigger staller. But that's because we have these EBI rules and, which is kind of a submission-only rule set. There are no points. So, the bottom man is in the favorable position where he can attack freely, and the top guy's got to be very, very careful. Again, if it was a fight, then Nicky Rod would be able to throw strikes, and then it's very possible that either Gordon Ryan would then catch him because Nicky Rod would open up more, or Gordon Ryan would say, I don't want to be on the bottom anymore because I'm getting hit in the face. So, I'm not saying one way or the other, but it does create more action, and then it makes stuff happen. You end up with these matches, these types of matches at high levels, where the top player is just going to say, you know what, I'm going to shut you down. And the bottom player is saying, well, I'm going to shut you down by just laying on my side and playing knee shield, and I'm not going to let you pass. I'm not going to let you lock your hands around my body. I'm not going to let you, it's a weird dynamic, and this is jiu-jitsu, and it's part of what people love about jiu-jitsu. It's part of what people hate about jiu-jitsu. And, I know, I understand both sides. I've got a brain for both sides and a mind for both sides, and it is what it is, guys. So was Nicky Rod stalling? Maybe he was. Was Gordon stalling? Well, shoot. If you look at the overtime, the EBI rule set, Gordon was stalling quite a bit. I mean, he was locking the body triangle and just holding on, trying to ride. He wasn't going for the finish. So both guys are stalling at points. So I don't want to put it all on Nicky Rod like he's the big staller, because Gordon was also stalling. Now, the other point is that Nicky Rod was able to catch a nice toe hold that, even though Gordon didn't tap, and I'm sure he wouldn't, with a toe hold, he said his ankle pops so many times it's just hanging on, and strong-willed people in jiu-jitsu, they just, you develop it. It's weird, but you develop it, and that's why we see some people get limbs broken and they don't tap. They let stuff pop out of place and they don't tap. So, but Nicky Rod did something really good. So this time we got to see a much closer match, and I think Nicky Rod proved himself pretty well in that match, at least under that rule set. Now, a lot of people on the internet, I've been reading some very well-known grapplers give their opinions, and a lot of people don't like EBI rules, but that's what they fought under. So that's what we got. We got an EBI match, and I thought it was great for what it was. Some people think it's boring, but I like what we got to see. We got to see some cool stuff, and lots to learn. And there's little mistakes that get made along the way, and we can all learn from those mistakes, including these two athletes. So those are my thoughts. Overall, obviously, Gordon won under the rule set. Simple as that. Nicky Rod had the toe hold, and then he also had the rear naked face lock at the end. So, to some people, I'm sure that they're like, wow, Nicky Rod did better than Gordon, So there's different arguments, different sides to look at, but ultimately, by the rules, Gordon won, and Nicky Rod did great as well. So hope you guys enjoyed this analysis, and I probably forgot some stuff that I wanted to say. It's impossible to say everything on my mind, but that's it. If you guys want to check it out, go get UFC Fight Pass. Watch the show and check out the whole match for yourself. All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll be reading them. Okay. See you guys next time with more great stuff.